what we're going to be doing here is talking about team collaboration while streamlining processes, and really how all these things could tie together in the cloud, and basically the next value of the cloud, of how from initial adoption to what you could do next. So can you hold on one second? Actually, can you make sure that if people ask questions? Okay. And if people want to ask questions, feel free just to chat them in the chat window. And we have Ashley here monitoring that chat window. Cloudbakers is a 6-year-old company. We're a born-in-the-cloud company. I started the company after being a CIO for a $400 million company in the Chicagoland area. And it's been very interesting to see the evolution of the cloud. We started out with a single client, without a single client. Now we have over 500 clients in 40 states, 10 countries. We have a fully certified staff, and we're fully a cloud solution company. Don't do anything else. Top partner with Google, Microsoft, Zoho, and many other products too. So what's interesting is the cloud is really becoming a necessity to move to the cloud now, and a lot of the trends that we're seeing out there are people that want to work remotely, geographic dispersity, people that want to collaborate together, people that want to work on a Mac or a PC, or maybe they want to work on a tablet, or even sometimes their phone. We've had people that actually are able to work from a mobile device for extended periods of time also. And they don't necessarily want to have to download software. They don't want to update clients. They don't necessarily want to have the infrastructure that they need to manage to do that. What's also interesting is the freedom and the liberation you get of having all your file storage in the cloud, being able to access those files from anywhere, and be able to really collaborate on those files with multiple people anywhere in the world. So there's a lot of nice things that you could do to get people, get your enterprise working in the cloud. And a couple of things that we've seen a design pattern that has come up over and over and over again. And that design pattern basically says there's a first low-cost, high-reward step into the cloud, and that's usually messaging and collaboration solutions. And what those do is they free you up from they give you device independence. They give you a predictable IT cost structure for your messaging and collaboration solutions, such as email, calendar, contacts, documents. They let you do document sharing, document editing, file storage in the cloud. And it's a fixed price per person generally on a per month or per year basis, depending on the type of contract you sign. And it's really a great way to get started. You don't have to then pay for an email server. You don't have to pay for hosted services. You don't have to do any patches, and you have great security generally moving forward. What we see next is quite often is that, okay, we have this great piece going on. People are starting to collaborate. It's really getting organic growth within our organization. That we see a business process optimization as a next phase. And this is usually a CRM in the cloud, whether you're looking at the Zoho, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, great solutions. Accounting systems in the cloud make a lot of sense here. Reporting and business intelligence also really, really key things that you could have out there. And process improvement. How do I automate processes so I could have a clean handoff from one system to another? And we'll show that a little bit later on here. And this is a great step to as a second stage to go in there. And as you go up this hierarchy here, you're moving up the value chain because those processes add deeper and deeper value to your organization. And what's also interesting here is that as you move up these processes, you're going in messaging and collaboration, a lot of unstructured data or data that you don't, that's not necessarily organized, that's more free form, such as email, documents, video, chat, video conferencing. And you're going up into a CRM or an accounting system where you have a lot more structured data. And then you could actually then move further up the chain and then do application development in the cloud. And this application development and integration bake systems together, they tie them together, they actually I have a lot of great use cases that we'll go into in a second on each one of these to show what they do. And that further structures your data, so then you treat your unstructured data and your structured data all with the same integrity that you always have done for your databases and other information. So messaging collaboration, that really just starts out with migration of commodity applications out there. So the process is very, people have on-premise email systems. Sometimes people actually migrate from one cloud system to another cloud system. Once you move from on-premise to the cloud, it's actually easier to move from a cloud to a cloud system at that point. It's not the same pain point that you might have to move from on-premise to the cloud, or feeling the same, some of the difficulties and the change management aspects that you might go through. But email, calendar, documents, contacts, and phone are almost always part of this initial messaging collaboration phase. So as far as the business process optimization goes, a lot of this further leveraging the cloud is once you get that messaging platform in place, there's all sorts of collaboration tools that you could have out there to enhance that piece. And those collaborations are real-time collaboration where people could be in the same document at the same time doing that, editing it. So what we like to do when we do a proposal here, we might have a salesperson working on an executive overview while we have an engineer working on the actual solution design, and then we might have somebody on the finance side actually, or finance or legal side actually putting the terms and conditions and the legal aspects. And you don't have to necessarily have three different versions that someone actually has to go and figure out how to put them all together. It's all in the same version at the same time. Workflow, another great use case to say, okay, I know that when I have a new employee starting, I need them to fill out a W-9 form. I need them to fill out read the employee information security policy. I need them to read the employee handbook. I need to get them a laptop or a PC. I need to get them to log into the CRM system and messaging collaboration. To be able to build a workflow so that it automatically gets handed off from one group to another interdepartmental is very, very key to do that. Process management, if you're looking at things like that you have an operations center, that you need to know when a ticket's there, and you have to have a ticket and how that's handled and make sure that it gets the right information with the right documents, very key. A CRM is the golden apple, if you will, of further leveraging the cloud. A lot of people go to CRM, customer relationship management systems, such as Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, Zoho CRM, things like that. And then implementing non-commodity applications that you might have there. And those might be things like accounting systems. They might be work management systems, project management systems, time tracking systems, things like that. And we'll get into the steps of how to access these things later on. So, and the third piece is application development and customization and integration. And what's interesting about this is that if you go to the right there, the new product development is key. So if you want to try out a new product or leverage some of the existing data that you have, it's really, really, it's traditionally been very, very expensive. You have to buy a lot of hardware, you have to set it up, you have to buy a lot of bandwidth to get that going. Using a cloud-based development environment such as the Google Cloud Platform or Microsoft Azure or even Amazon Web Services, you could actually develop that with no capital expenditure, minimal startup time, and we always recommend starting with a minimal viable product or MVP to do that, and then you could iterate over that. You could say, okay, people are interested in this. Here's where we went right. Here's where we went wrong. Here's things we can improve upon, and then do progressive iterations to get that product out there and build a product as your user base or as your sales increase there. Quite often, we've seen our clients monetizing data on the back end. So they have a whole bunch of data from a number of different sources, and people are interested in how industry data and how other people are doing compared to themselves, or the value of that data. We have some people in the construction industry that say, where are all the new projects going on in Illinois right now? And they could see on a map where all those projects are. They could drill into that, see what the permits look like, what their people are doing. And very often people are interested in like projects. You could search on projects to say, I'm interested in building a 3-story condo that has 6 units in it. Can you show me other condos that have that similar specs, where they're located in the city, you know, how much those are being rented for, things like that make a lot of sense. We also see partner portals pop up quite often, where I want to say I'm working with these partners very closely. Want to have a lead registration system. We want to work on a deal together, do deals together. Very, very interesting segment there too. So this is basically saying you have a special sauce, you have an idea that you want to look at, you want to have your back office be a little bit more efficient on how they process invoices or how things get handed off from accounting, from delivery to accounting, or from sales to delivery to accounting, and we'll go over some use cases of that in a second also. So really what we're trying to do is get people to work better together, and it's a very, very key thing that the cloud really enables you to do that with very, very minimal configuration. I don't know, we apologize for being a couple minutes late here getting on board. I'm not sure if people that were here were able to hear some of the last minute scrambling that we were able to do, but we were working with the people from Big Marker, with our team right here. We were working on a presentation. It turned out that the name of our webinar here was too long. He instantly changed on the back end, and it all took within 5 minutes working together, having Ashley, who's sitting next to me here. Hi, Ashley. Having Ashley working next to me here, and she was able to help out there, and we were able to get this up and going in no time at all. That's a great example of something in the previous times would have taken a lot longer time to do it, and we wouldn't have been able to connect as soon as we were able to do that. So quite often, this is just a very simple process here, and I just want to walk people through this. That quite often, and this is a very common use case for that we see out there, a very common scenario that we have, that you have your people doing marketing and lead generation, and they're reaching out to people. They might be doing drip email campaigns. It might be an inbound campaign that's coming from your website. It might be a content-based campaign. It might be a webinar like we're doing right now. And people come in and they show interest in what you're doing, and then somehow that has to get turned over to your sales department for your sales team to follow up on. Your sales team might go through a process where they do a qualification stage, a solution design, a return on investment, ROI, financial piece. They might go through some security concerns. They might go through a number of different pieces. Legal is always something there. And then at some point, you know, the deal has gone through all these different stages, and then the deal is won, okay, or it's lost. But if it's won, you want to hand it off to your delivery team in a seamless fashion and have that in place. And then it goes to accounting, and you want to be able to bill and account for it properly. And then when the project's done, generally goes to an account management team, which then can feed into the sales team or into marketing and lead generation, depending on how you're going. But one of the typical things that happens is things fall between a crack. We got these leads, they were never followed up on. We closed the sale. Our delivery team didn't understand what they're supposed to deliver. Our accounting didn't know how to bill for it. Wait, where's the account management? Where's the follow-up when people have more ideas to do that? So one of the ideas of leveraging the collaboration aspect of the cloud and the workflow and the process there is to close these gaps, as far as close the gaps so you actually have a seamless workflow that actually has really nice handoffs between each of these. So quite often, as I was saying, that you have people that are rowing in the wrong direction here, that are running into something. Basically, your team's out of sync, and what you want to get to is you want to get your business to everybody be rowing in sync, and you could view each person in the boat here as a different department and all working together in harmony here to do that. And it's really important to do that. So really, any business could do this, and the nice thing about putting these things together is that it's actually more cost effective in the cloud. There's not an infrastructure investment. There's ways to pick these systems out that make a lot of sense to move forward, and it's a very predictable cost for your IT costs. And your IT department, instead of becoming a roadblock, which it quite often can be, it becomes an enabler and helps facilitate your business needs and your business growth. So we've talked a lot about the About the collaboration messaging systems, we've talked a little bit about the business process optimization systems, as well as the application development integration. But a lot of those first two buckets are choosing a software as a service product. And what you want to do to vet these software and service products is a pretty straightforward checklist here to go through these. So what you first want to do is make sure that they have the security that you need in place. And you want to make sure that they're reliable systems, that they have security certifications such as ISO 27001, that if you're a healthcare company, that they have they're HIPAA compliant, that they'll sign a business associate agreement for you. If you're a bank or an insurance company, you have different regulations, making sure that they follow those regulations. But vet them for security. Almost all the companies that are reputable have something on their website that actually can go through that, have some white papers to do that, to actually give you the confidence that they're secure. Another thing you want to make sure is that you own your data. Just because you're going to the cloud doesn't mean that you don't own your data. People quite often, we do a lot of work with the Google platform as well as with the Microsoft platform. And people that go into these platforms go, well, we don't own our data anymore. I want to make sure we own our data. It's very important that you have the ability to export your data, back up your data, and that they can't use your data for anything other than checking it for like spam or viruses and making sure that it's safe for you. You want to make sure that in your terms and conditions that you own your data. Having the ability to export and import your data is really key, because when you're moving over to a SaaS product, you want to bring your current system in and have a data migration plan. But you also want to be able to back up or export your data as you need. And also, you don't want to be tied to any single vendor. That if the product's not working for you, you want to be able to have an export of that system, of that data, so you could export it and import it into another system for you. This might seem pretty obvious, but there's some base functional requirements that you're going to have. You want to make sure that it meets your functional requirements. For a calendaring system, it quite often says that I could schedule my appointments, that I could send appointments to other people, that I could see other people's calendars, that I could share my calendars. You want to make, and that's a basic one, but you want to make sure that it meets your requirements. Maybe for a CRM system, you want to make sure that you can configure it to meet your sales stages. The initial lead, the qualification, the solution design, the security and legal, that you can go through the proposal stage and get all those in place. That you want to make sure that it meets those requirements and can be configured properly. Integration, we've been talking a lot about that the integration is really, really key, that you want to make sure it's an open system and they have an open interface to other systems, that you could easily configure these systems together. And we'll show a diagram at the end here that shows you a unified collaboration platform. And that's no application development is required there. It's all pre-configuration. It's all configuration. All you need is configuration and not app dev. Configuration options I already talked about. Device independence is key. If you have to download something on your system to make it work, you don't really want to do that. You want to make sure that it's a browser-based system and that they have mobile apps to support you too. So you don't have to worry about working on. You could be free to work on a Mac, a PC, a Chromebook, a Surface, a tablet, whatever you'd like to do. And you want to make sure it's at a price point that makes sense to you. So you have to make the business decision whether there's value in that product that you're looking at. Another thing is that you want to see that they have a partner network. I might be a little biased here, but quite often working with a partner improves your rate of success of the project by quite a bit. We've seen people that just buy products from their vendors, and they have maybe a 40 to 60, maybe 70% success rate. When they work with a trusted partner, it's really they get like a 90% success rate, 90% or above. Also, you want to see if there's a partner network that actually has complementary products that could be pre-configured too, that could run on there, that meet your needs, whether it's an advanced reporting need, whether it's a phone system that you want to add on, whether it's you want to tie together a CRM and an accounting system, or your CRM and your marketing automation system, those things too that you want to see. And that's the third-party marketplace that I'm talking about there. A point that shouldn't be lost, and a few years ago, the cloud was kind of the wild, wild west. It's settled down a little bit and is really across that chasm, basically, into where the early adopters are all adopted, and now it's picked up full force, and everyone's joining the bandwagon here. I just saw a statistic the other day that 40% of all companies in the 100 to 2,000 user range are on cloud-based email systems, and that's picking up steam as well. 3 years ago or 4 years ago, that was only 5%. So there's a lot of aggregation of these cloud companies. There's been a lot of merger activities going on, but you want to make sure that the company is well-funded, that they're viable, that they're profitable, that there's a long-term success rate for them. As your backstop for that, if you're willing to take a little bit of a risk on a company and a product that makes a lot of sense for you, you want to make sure that you have that export capability so you could at least get your data out of there if you need to get it into another product, and that you'll be given enough time to get the data out of there too. So that's basically a checklist on how to select a SaaS product here. Well, I also want to talk about the project lifecycle of different things that you want to go through. So this is really true for any project that you're going through, but change management is really important. And you want to make sure that you have change management as a centerpiece for all of the different pieces. So I'm a technologist by trade, but I'm a change management specialist at heart, because I realize that the technology only goes so far if you don't have the buy-in from the people. So you want to make sure that you have a very complete change management program in place. And it's really, a lot of that is internal marketing to your team. You want to get project champions out there. You want to have IT leadership. You want to have an executive sponsor. And the change management should be a full-featured program, having things like websites to say, hey, we're going Google or we're going Microsoft. This is why. This is the advantages that it has for us. We want to be able to say things. We want to be able to have a drip email campaign to people, say, hey, go check this out. Go check this feature out. You can log in. You can get familiar with the environment. Oh, we just had some of your data here. Look what your data looks like in this environment. Oh, why don't you go send an email? Everything's hooked up for you right now. Then go through some personal training, that you have on-site training or virtual training for your teams. You have advanced training. You have continuous change management. Very, very, very important. So once you have that foundation in place, the various different phases are just discovery. What do I need to, how do I need to configure the system? What are my technical requirements that I have there? How do I put that in place? Get those technical pieces figured out, get it configured right off the bat. Migrate the data into the system. Make sure the data is migrated properly. This is another reason why you want to work with a trusted partner that has actually done the data migrations hundreds, if not thousands of times, to make sure your data comes across cleanly and all your data comes in there properly. Generally, it takes a number of times to figure out how to do this, so that's why you want to go with an expert that can help you there. Any integration points that you have integration with scanners, with phone systems, with accounting systems, with workflow, make sure that those are configured properly and that you have all those put together there, and that usually happens during the discovery phase of the project also. Test with end users, get champions of your product, get people that are going to be champions for your product, so when you go live, they're there to help out. Deploy the system, go out there, go live, make a celebration of the new system too, make it exciting, make it fun. Have some swag that you give out to people, whether it's t-shirts or badges or candy or stickers, do things like that. Really, really good. And then support. Make sure you have the support going forward too. But as you can see, the central hub of all this is change management, and you have something associated with change management everywhere along the project lifecycle, and you have multiple touch points that you make sure people are engaged. So what I'm going to show here is a way of a unified collaboration platform that just shows a use case of all this being put together. So you could actually collaborate on systems. You could actually call, have it integrate with calling, and have it integrating with closing your pieces too. And this really, on the collaborate side, and this is, we're listing a couple of products here. These aren't necessarily the products you have to use, but Google Drive for Work or Microsoft Office 365 are far and away the two big leaders on the messaging and collaboration side. But we're just talking about document collaboration here. So being able to edit these documents, share them, store them all in the cloud, and actually have features that allow you to do conferencing going forward too. Having this integrated in to your voice system, we have dial pad listed here, as well as Uber Conference for conferencing systems, but it could be Ring Central, it could be 8x8, it could be dial pad, it could be Skype for Business. All those would fit in, and most of these are all pre-integrated in that you could just configure them to turn on. We have a lot of customers using a system called Slack, which is kind of like a advanced chat or messaging application where you could have channels. So you could have a channel for your deployment, you could have a channel for your HR, you could have a channel for your operations and sales. We know somebody in the healthcare field that has a channel to make sure that they need a nurse to be available immediately. They have a Slack channel. They send something out. Who's available? They transfer the call right to that person there. Works out really well. With the calling, you might want that integrated with your CRM system. In the CRM, you want to be able to click on something and be able to make a call right away. But you also want that call logged in your CRM or your ticketing system. So bringing that into Salesforce.com or Microsoft Dynamics or Zoho CRM, really, really key things. Salesforce has this great plugin called Cirrus Insight. So if there's any Salesforce users out there, you could actually use Salesforce within a browser, within your Gmail, or within your Outlook for Office 365 right off the bat. It's really nice. And that all integrates in together with your mail, docs, calendars, your cloud storage, and all these things could be with a single sign-on. So you don't have to know multiple logons to do this. And we call this is the CQ for Collaborate, Call, Close, a unified collaboration platform that lets you collaborate across all these different venues and all these different touch points for your clients, your prospects, your team, your whole constituency that you have out there. Well, that's it. Here's a contact information for me. If there's any, Ashley, are there any questions on the chat window?
I can't see any from my end.
Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to put them out there. Otherwise, I think we kind of went through this, and I just thank you very much for your time. We'll wait a second here. People have any things they want to chat out. What's it?
Do you see the answer? If you click chat.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.